When looking back at the early history of comics in the Golden Age, it can be hard to find out what things were really like, what the people were really like. Those days were long before people casually had video recording devices, and there's not many people from that era still around to give first-hand accounts. But Allen Bellman is still around, and heck, he's still grabbing life by the cojones, going out to comic conventions and meeting the fans. And he talked with us about Stan Lee, about how Joe Simon gave him his first job at Marvel without ever knowing it, and other Golden Age people like artist Don Rico and publisher Martin Goodman. So strap in, true believers, that's coming up next. Hello, heroes. Forcade here with a special look into the past. When it comes to comics, or anything I love, I also love the history of it, what came before, the progression to today. And so it was a real treat to talk to Allen Bellman, one of the few living Golden Age artists of Timely Comics, which of course would later become Marvel Comics. So when I talked to him at Comic-Con 2009, I spent a few minutes asking him about some of the people he worked with in the Golden Age, including Stan Lee, Martin Goodman, and artist Don Rico. But first he tells us a few of the greats he never got to meet, including a story about how Joe Simon was unknowingly responsible for Bellman getting hired, and how Bellman got to tell the puzzled Simon about it 60 years after the fact.
Did you know Bill Everett?
No, never met him.
Never met him?
Never met Kirby. And I met Joe Simon about 3-4 years ago.
After all this time?
And I said, hey, Joe, thank you. He says, for what? I said, Joe, when you and Jack Kirby left Timely to go to D.C., you left an opening for me to get a job. And he laughed.
Bellman also talked about his enduring friendship with his first boss in comics, Stan Lee.
Well, I go back and forth with Stan Lee at the time, as of now. And when people learn that I knew Stan Lee, they always, can you get me his autograph? Can you get me his autograph? I had a gentleman that had 4 kids and asked for an autograph. And I said, Carl, I can't ask for 4. He says, how can you give one and not the other? So I sent a request. Stan, could you help me out? I need 4 autographs. But Stan just didn't send 4 autographs. He sent 4 Spider-Man P-caps with his signature on top of the, and 4 Spider-Man minted, pins, not tin, minted. And he wrote, I'm glad your friend doesn't have 12 children. He has a great sense of humor, and he can make me laugh every time he writes. We go back occasionally.
Bellman also talked about the big boss at Timely and Marvel, publisher Martin Goodman, and said that despite Goodman's spendthrift reputation, Bellman thought he was pretty considerate to the Marvel staff.
What can you tell me about Martin Goodman? Did you know him?
Well, he was my boss. He kept to himself, but he treated the staff well. You know, he was a good businessman. It was a business with him. So I never had a complaint. No.
He just cared about the numbers, huh?
Well, he was a businessman, and you couldn't blame him. A lot of guys squawk, but we used to get off on Wednesdays, get off on the afternoon, because it was in the summertime, and we had no air conditioning. Not that he couldn't afford air conditioning. The war was going on. It was not available. So every Wednesday, Sid Shores and I would go straight to Ebbets Field and watch the Brooklyn Dodgers play. But he did give us the afternoon off. He didn't have to do it. A lot of guys didn't appreciate it.
Bellman also noted the underappreciated artist Don Rico was at Timely when he started, and told us a little bit about him.
I was hired by one Don Rico, another, well, he's gone now, and another Golden Age artist.
What can you tell me about Don Rico? What kind of an artist was he?
Don Rico was a good artist. His main feature was the Young Allies, a bunch of kids fighting the war, and very successful.
That was Golden Age great Allen Bellman with a rare look at some of the 1940s comic creators from someone who was actually there. And we'll see you here next time on Hero Journalism.